Julie Foudy, great to be with you on this Wednesday after the United States began its Olympic qualifying campaign with a 4-0 victory over Haiti down in Houston. Goals from Kristen Press, Lynn Williams, Lindsey Horan, and Carly Lloyd. Julie, the final scoreline was convincing. Was the performance itself convincing for you?
Well, such are the standards of the U.S. women's national team that even at 4-0 against Haiti, you're like, it was just okay. I think they would say the same thing. And it took the U.S. 67 minutes to get that second goal, and it could have really been and should have really been 1-1 tied up in the 19th minute. I still don't know. I've looked at that goal about 10 times. What was called in terms of calling the Haiti goal back off the corner kick? I didn't see anything on there that would have disallowed it. So it really should have been 1-1 at the 19th minute. However, I will say, and not to make any excuses for the team, but it's January, and January traditionally has been very tough for the United States, and especially January coming off a World Cup winning year, because this team hasn't rested. And when they did finally have a break from the professional league, they actually had a moment to make some money. And they realized that their window is tight. They don't have a lot of opportunity to do that. And so this team's been moving. They've been going. They've been doing sponsorship commitments. And that's why I think you've never seen a team win the Olympics after winning a World Cup. It's a really hard turnaround. And you could see it. They looked fatigued, I thought, against Haiti.
Julie, you mentioned kind of okay as the level that they played at last night. I wonder how worried you are then. Do you think it was good enough to beat, let's say, a Mexico or a Jamaica, who they would play in that all-important winner-takes-all semifinal to get into the Olympics?
Not worried at all, actually, Sebi. I think this is something that is obviously fixable. I think a little rest will do this team well, but this is the challenge of January play, and especially when it's Olympic qualifiers, and especially with a format like this with only 2 teams going through. They know all of this. And you also have some injuries. We'll talk in another segment about that starting 11, but you can see the impact when an experienced player like Megan Rapinoe comes off the bench and what she did for this team. So I am not worried. And I think it also is a good little wake-up call for the team to say, okay, mind you, it's a better Haiti team. Let's give them a little bit of credit. They were more organized. They were faster. They were fitter. U.S. teams typically wear these teams down in the end. And again, it took until the 67th minute to do so. But it was a good little reminder of, okay, this is for real. This isn't a friendly. This is the Olympic qualifiers, and there's only 2 teams going through.
Julie, this game could have shifted, as you mentioned, in the 18th minute, right? Haiti gets that goal. It's eventually disallowed. For the folks that haven't seen it, it's a corner kick. The assistant referee puts flag up. The center ref puts the arm up as if to mark offside, whistle blown. We know there can't be offside on a corner kick. So it begs the question, for me, not about the call. I don't think there's much debate there. But why isn't there VAR in a tournament like this? Julie, is that problematic for you?
It is problematic. And I have not been a huge advocate of VAR because I think it too has its challenges, as we've seen. But yes, this is the perfect example of why VAR is needed, because there was nothing that indicated on that video replay why that goal shouldn't have been allowed. And even the commentators were saying, after looking at it a few times on replay, we have no idea. We don't see anything. We don't see a foul off the ball. Clearly, there's no offside on a corner kick. That wasn't an issue. So, yes, it is concerning. It's not surprising, though, with CONCACAF in terms of their support of the women's game, which over the years I would argue has never been up to par. So I know they're trying to make changes with the women's game and their support of the women's game with CONCACAF, but you would think that they would allow VAR in this situation.
Yeah, it might not have been surprising, but I think disappointing, right? This Houston stadium was built in 2012. For MLS, they have the VAR infrastructure there. It's not like they had to put anything else in place. It's almost like somebody decided not to have VAR, which we know the infrastructure is already well in place there in Houston. One more note about the game itself, Julie. I saw a lot of criticism online, and we take that for what it's worth, about Haiti's kind of extreme gamesmanship. And really what I'm referencing is the time wasting. What did you make of that?
I think Haiti understands that for them to actually have a chance of getting through as the second team out of this group, they've got to keep that goal differential down, right? They know that Costa Rica won that first game 6-1, and they know if they can keep the score down against a U.S. team like this, then they've got a chance actually against Costa Rica to get out in that second place. I didn't mind it as much. A lot of magic spray coming out. There were some legitimate issues I saw on replay where they did get stomped on or a foot got stepped on. So I think it's all part of the goal differential Olympic qualifier game.
Yeah, we should probably also mention Haiti not just overmatched, but overwhelmingly underfunded when you compare their program to the program of the United States. So we'll leave you with a quick reminder, the games coming up for the U.S. in the Olympic qualifying tournament. Next up in group play, it'll be Panama, who, Julie, as you mentioned, really undertook a 6-1 shellacking at the hands of Costa Rica. And then the U.S. will finish out group play next week against the Costa Ricans, see who finishes top of the group.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.